Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to Beyond the Battle Pain Pageants and Perspective with yours truly, Kendra Harrelson, as your host. On tonight, we will be starting our series on military transition stories. And tonight we have Amanda Mae Salcedo, retired Master Sergeant, United States Air Force. She is coming to us. She served 20 years in the Air Force and she joined the Air Force Reserve when she was 18 years old. She fell in love with the military way of life and switched to active duty at age 19. Her primary job was a healthcare administration, and she also worked several years on various base honor guard assignments as well as wing protocols at two other assignments. She was stationed in Korea, Germany, Texas, Maryland, and Colorado. Master Sergeant Salcedo also deployed twice in support of Operations Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom. Her accolades include two meritorious service medals, the Iraqi Campaign Medal with a gold star, Air Force Expeditionary Medal with a gold border, and Korean Defense Medal. She founded the Women's Veteran Calendar shortly after her retirement in 2022. And now she lives happily here in San Antonio with her family. So, you guys, let's give a warm welcome to retired Master Sergeant Amanda Mae Salcedo. How are you, lady?
Hi, Miss Kendra. Thank you so much for having me. I'm great. How are you?
Doing very well. It is a pleasure to have you on the show. So I let's start off by having you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what motivated you to join the military.
Thank you. So, I think I was like a lot of people from a small town. I saw the opportunities that the Air Force presented for me, and I was excited to join and get out of my small rural town in Western Massachusetts. And I had family members that were in the Air Force, so that inspired me to go Air Force.
Very nice. And so in your bio, it says that your primary job was healthcare administration. How was that? What did that entail?
Oh gosh. Well, every job in the military is critical. So patient/slash healthcare administration is basically the behind the scenes paperwork that no one else wants to do that keeps the hospital or the medical group moving along. So it was pretty humdrum at times, but it's very relative, very relevant information, even in today's world, out in the civilian world. Medical coding and billing and patient administration, those are all critical career fields that help keep all medical type of businesses going.
Yes. So as a woman veteran, tell me, in your career, were you always amongst equal males, equal females?
Absolutely not. Um, I did see a lot of the statistic that you hear about, that women make up less than 20% of the military. And I think being in a medical Air Force specialty, that helped a little bit. I think a lot of women are in medical careers, if we can get into them when we go in. And I don't know why that is. I wouldn't say we've got a particular, different skill set than men. I think the recruiters probably have a lot to do with it. I know my recruiter chose my job, so.
Nice, nice. All right. So, over your military career, were there any challenges specifically that you faced that you feel like helped develop your path forward in the military, or helped keep you strong during your transition?
Ooh. Um, well, it's hard, right? Because challenges are, you never know what they're going to be, so it's hard to prepare for them. And then, do they really help you, or do they give you PTSD, or as we like to call it, spicy memories? Um, so of course, over 20 years, I dealt with many challenges. And I think being a woman, that was one that was a recurring challenge, is just fighting to have a voice at the table. even when I had earned it, even when my work had shown that I was capable and that I was on par, if not excelling in some fields. It is tough to be respected as a woman in a male dominated career. And the military, no matter how many women are in medical, the military is still a male dominated career.
Right.
But I would
So how do
say
you
those
think
challenges did help me. Yes, absolutely. Because they helped me find my voice and feel empowered to stand up for women veterans all over and say, you know what, our work and our contributions are worth noting and worth having us a seat at the table.
right? So deployments, it says you deployed twice. Thank you for your service. Thank you for, the sacrifice that you made for your family. What are some of the uplifting, because I know that deployments can be rough.
Yes.
Deployments can be tough, and especially in the healthcare field. But there's always one or two things that you see that are kind of comical to you, or a friendship that's forged in fire from the deployment. What's something that you have?
Oh, sure. I got a good one. I hope my friend Rich tunes into this podcast at some point because I'm going to call him out. There was a group of us from Balad Hospital. Excuse me. And we had all been out there for several months. We were on our flight home, and flying out of Balad was still dangerous. So they did what's called a combat takeoff. So we were
Right.
all in a C 130 strapped into those makeshift seats. And we were in our, full battle rattle, our Kevlar helmets and our vests. And I got my friend Dawn and me and my friend Rich and Tony. So Dawn and I are the two girls, right? And Rich is actually the one that ended up getting sick to his stomach and threw up in his helmet. So that's fun.
Oh.
We get to we get to pick on him for that for, the rest of eternity.
No.
But you forge those bonds with the people you're deployed with at the time, and that rat pack from the night shift at Balad, that was my crew. We would go to the gym together and then go get breakfast at the DFAC together and then work the next night shift together. And it really stinks being so far from your own immediate family, your spouse and your kids. But it's like the military gives you a family, whether you like it or not. Your coworkers, your battle buddies, that's your brothers and sisters that you got to lean on. And there's going to be family members that you don't necessarily like being around, but you can count on them, and that's what matters.
Right. So how do you think that your experience in the Air Force helped shape your view of teamwork?
It gave me a lot of experience on different teams for sure. Some good, some bad, but every experience is a teacher, whether it's good or bad.
Right.
So I trying to think. I think I learned a lot about diversity, being in the military, meeting people from all over and being put onto a team with them. So it gave me a new appreciation for just how big and amazing our world is, and how we're one human race. And so to meet people from all over and to see, to hear their stories about how they grew up and to be on a team with them and learn, what kind of stuff they do for fun. It's amazing. It was a huge eye opener. And I love being on teams with a diverse group of people because you're always learning something and you're always making each other better because you're opening each other's eyes and you're building that empathy and experience.
It's always awesome seeing something from a different perspective, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I smile because, some of the first questions that are asked are like, "Where are you from?" "What's your school like?" Meeting people that, went to a high school with a graduation class with that just a handful, and it was so so new to me, knowing that some people had never seen other cultures before and all of that. That was so eye-opening, and it was a great learning experience. So I absolutely understand. So you
Mhm.
did 20 years in the Air Force. Now, did you
Yes.
retire? Were you a happy retiree? Were you a unsure retiree? When it was time for papers to drop, how was Amanda? How was Master Sergeant Salcedo?
That was a difficult era. We're using eras now, right? That was my how am I going to get through this era for sure. At the time, I was married to somebody else,
Okay.
and the Air Force decided to med board me at 18 years. And I didn't know how popular of a thing this was, but it happens all too often in the military.
Right.
It happened to my husband. He was med boarded at 17 years.
Me too.
It's crazy. I'm sorry they did you like that, because it's not right. You're
It
given the best years of your life with the expectation that you're at least going to get a little pension. I mean, let's be honest, with inflation, it's not even that much. So,
I managed I managed to have some other time in service from active, guard time to kind of help me manage through it. So,
but,
that kinda helped a little bit. But yeah, you're right. It's almost like you're so close, you know what I mean?
mhm.
You're so very close to the crossing the line.
And then they just take the goalie off the field. They just, nope, just kidding. Not for
Right.
you, Saucedo. Yeah, so it was a tough time, because at the same time, um, my I was in a kind of abusive relationship, and you know how you have those blinders on, so you don't realize it at the time, and you see all these red flags, and you say, "Oh, a carnival! I love carnivals." So it
Yeah.
kind of all came crashing down. The my thank goodness, blessing in disguise, and I don't want to talk about my ex-husband too much, but sometimes God will make something happen for you when you don't have the courage to do it yourself. I was in
Yep.
that bad relationship, and I was determined to be the good wife, and my husband cheated on me,
Oh,
and I was
you're
still determined to be the good wife. And it was only when I started really making him uncomfortable and saying, "When are you going to stop talking to this girl?" that he finally said he wanted a divorce. And I was like, "Yeah, I think that is the answer. Yes, let's do that."
yeah. Yeah.
So even though it was a great blessing in disguise, like I said, it could not have come at a more tumultuous time. Meanwhile,
Right.
I'm appealing my med boards because the Air Force is telling me, "Oh, you got to go because the treatment you get for your migraines is non-deployable." And I'm looking at them like, "I
Mhm.
haven't deployed in over 10 years. You want to deploy me now? I'll go. Like, let's talk about this." And they said, "No, it's
Right.
not a conversation. You just need to get out." So I kept
Aw,
appealing, and whew, it was a lot of prayers, a lot of praying in that time.
transition transition, you are a strong woman because transition without all of those humps, bumps, and obstacles is rough on its own. So I am glad to see you here bright eyed and smiling, making it through that. Do you think that with what you grew through during your transition, do you feel like the military prepared you for after the military? Do you feel like they prepared you for life after the service?
I feel like they want to. I think they have good intentions. I
Okay.
really believe that when you go through TAPS, it's like trying to drink from a fire hose, and you're trying to, you're attending these classes, yeah,
I
and
couldn't agree.
I think they mean well, but it's an abundance of information, and at the time you have to be focused on which fire you're trying to put out in your own life at the time, because there's so many moving parts to getting out, finding a new home, moving, trying to find a new job, or are you going to go to school, applying for that, making sure you get your
Right.
214 and your benefits. There's just so many moving parts. TAPS is great, but I'm confident that no one gets 100% of the information they're given in TAPS, because it's impossible to retain all of that.
That's what I felt like. Like I was catching balls all over the
Yeah.
place. So much information. It's like my hand is only so big, right? So I
Yes.
totally when so like you said, so much stuff is coming at you. It's like a fire hose. It's what resources do you feel like you landed on that really just kind of helped you get through um were the most helpful during your transition?
I will be honest with you, I didn't find them right away, and I wish I had. But
Mhm.
fellow veterans, because they have been in your shoes, and especially the ones that got out recently, they can tell you, like, oh, yeah, if I hadn't been med boarded and I was trying to do my VA, a fellow
Mhm.
veteran could have told me, hey, make sure you go to the Wounded Warrior Project, because they'll help you for free if you're a post 9/11. Or if you're from before 9/11, you can go to your local VFW, American Legion, DAV, and they have people that will help you for free. That's the kind of stuff that, like, as somebody transitioning out, you need somebody to grab you and hold you steady and say, okay, focus on me now. This is important for you. And you want to,
Mhm.
this needs to be the next thing you take care of, because, like you say, you're just trying to catch all those balls flying everywhere. And yeah,
It's like we need a retirement mentor, right?
absolutely. I think that's a great idea.
Um, so now you've transitioned, you have your support system, you are in a great relationship and the cutest little girl ever, right? So tell us what you're doing now.
So now I am loving retirement, girl. Let me tell you, I am a stay-at-home mom first and foremost. I had my
Yeah.
baby and I got married um like a year and a half after I retired, which I know sounds a little rushed, but when you know, you know. So don't worry, I properly vetted this one. And anyone judging me for being married 3 times, I want to tell you, for some people, not everybody, marriage is like pancakes, and it's okay to throw the first one or two out. Okay, so just want to. It's not for everybody, but that's what I have found to be true for me.
I
So
like
actually, it's a really neat story, and I'll keep it super quick. But when my fiance and I were dating, we had already decided not to have more kids, and then we had a scare, and it made us have the conversation again. And when we were talking about it, he said, I kind of got excited thinking we might have kids. And I said, yeah, me too. I said, we should really pray on it. And so I prayed that night. I asked God for a sign. I said, I will respect the sign, whether it's yes or no. I need a clear sign, like do it or don't do it, right? To try to have a baby.
right.
And the next day, I had a text from my fiance at the time, and he said, if we have a girl, I want to name her Rosalind. And I wrote back and I said, ew, I don't like that name. I'll call her Rosie for short. And then we went about our day, talked about other things. Couple days later, I was on the plane to come back to Texas, because I was in Massachusetts at the time. And I was sitting in the last row of the aircraft. The last seat for somebody to take was next to mine, and it's a lady coming down the aisle with a baby. And I don't think anything of it right away, but she comes down, she sits next to me. And of course, I say the usual, like, oh my gosh, your baby's so cute. Oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. How old is she? And then it occurs to me, standard questions. I should ask her name. I kid you not, her name was Rosie.
He didn't give you one sign, he gave you two. He said, I'm
I
gonna make
swear.
sure that she knows the answer is yes.
The good Lord
That's
knows my
awesome.
Swiss cheese brain. He knows me, man. He, he said, May, I'm
So
gonna give you a
awesome.
glaring sign. So we had the baby the same month we got married because we didn't want to move our wedding date. So we were 9 months pregnant when we got married, and then she was born a couple weeks later.
Nice. Well,
Yeah,
congratulations on
thank you.
marriage, children, the whole shabam. That's so exciting. So
Yeah.
now you have a nonprofit. Is that
Yes.
right?
Well, it's a not for profit, and we're finalizing our paperwork. Yes. So
Of
we
course.
have
And
the
tell us about
we donate all of our proceeds to communities and mental health initiatives for women veterans.
that's awesome. And it's the Women Veterans Calendar. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, the Woman Veteran Calendar. Woman with an A.
That that's awesome. I love it. So you're out there doing all of these great things. How was this idea sparked for you?
So the Woman Veteran
Mm.
Calendar
Other than the
actually
fact
came
that
to
you're
be. Oh, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I said other than the fact that you are a woman veteran.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it didn't definitely did not occur to me when I first retired. I think when I first retired, aside from getting married and having a baby, I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I am still in grad school for a master's degree in teaching. But with the Woman Veteran Calendar, I have found my passion. I am passionate about making women veterans more visible. And I think a big contributing part of that is when I retired and I would tell people I was retired, people would look at me sideways and say, "Do you mean you were a spouse and your husband is retired?" And that gets old after several times. And it's not that we as women want more recognition than our brother counterparts, but equal would be nice, and just
Yeah,
to not be dismissed or degraded when we say we're a veteran. It's not even about like, oh, I want the military discount. It's just I'm a veteran. I gave the best years of my life to my country and to the service, and I'm proud of that.
yeah,
So I learned through doing this that women veterans, that's a very common issue that we deal with across the nation. So there was a group on Facebook where one of my friends said, "Oh, I wish we could do a photo shoot together." And I said, "What if we did a calendar?" And then a bunch of girls also commented and said, "Yes, let's do it." And I said, "Okay, I'm doing it. I'm making a group. I'm getting an LLC registered. I'm, doing this, doing that." And I just jumped in with both feet, and I didn't check the water temperature first. That might have been a wise move, but it's been an amazing ride so far, and it's only been a year. We've got one calendar out that came out for 2024, and we have Miss Texas USA 2024 in our 2025 calendar. So I'm very excited about that.
I thank you very much for that opportunity. It's pretty awesome to be out there. I love what your organization is doing. I love what it stands for. I love that you put money back into the community based on what you're doing. You know, I've had those experiences. I'm out with my husband and we'll be getting, sometimes we take my car. I'm not a big fan of driving, but we do sometimes. And um, they see the DV plates, and this gentleman was, he's talking to my husband, and he's like thanking him for my service, and he has on his, hat. He's a veteran, and my husband, they're going back and forth, and I'm just quietly listening. And my husband goes, "And you know what? It's actually her car, and she's the veteran." And the gentleman was like, "And she's beautiful." Like, it was his response to me being the veteran was not what I had been accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
That was great because, most oftentimes it is exactly, you have to go to the county when you get your benefits and you want to go get your taxes reduced or whatever, the county tax office. I'm having an argument about the lady about why I need his ID because
Yes.
I'm a veteran. And so
Yeah.
I really get it. And I love what your organization is about and what you do. So I'm blessed that I had the opportunity to be in the calendar. So you guys are in the midst of planning party. So tell us about planning party and if there are people out there that want to get involved, how they can be a part of it.
Oh, we would love for anyone who wants to get involved. We are planning a release party for our 2025 calendar. It's going to be at VFW Post 76, the oldest post in Texas, the one on the Riverwalk. And we meet Thursdays at 1700. Our next meeting is going to be the first Thursday in October. I don't have that in front of me, but that's going to be our next meeting.
Like the
And we
third
would
or the
love,
fourth or something, I think.
yes, that sounds right. Yeah, the third. So that's going to be our next meeting. We would love, and it's not, you don't have to be a veteran to be a part of the planning party. You don't have to be a veteran to go to the VFW and have a drink at the cantina. That those are open to the public, as our party is also open to the public. In fact, the goal of the calendar is to have our calendar up in several offices and businesses celebrating women in service. So it's not exclusive for veterans. We hope that anyone will consider buying a calendar and inspiring the next generation of women in service. So our planning meetings are Thursdays at 1700 at VFW Post 76, and the party is going to be October 19th in the same location at Carriage Hall, VFW Post 76, from 6 o'clock to 11 o'clock p.m. We have some very exciting raffle prizes. I just got confirmation from, excuse me, the Wahlberg family that we will be getting a donation from them for raffle prizes,
Wow.
as well as other prizes, a wine basket, coffee basket. I'm sorry, I've been talking too much today. Please forgive my raspiness. But it's going to be a very exciting party, and the whole event is just meant to help launch our calendar and raise money for women, veteran communities, and mental health. So last year we raised over $900 at our party alone. And
Wow.
we've set a goal this year to double that. I think we can do it.
I think so. I think so. I am going to now donate. I will donate a also a wine basket. So you'll have two wine baskets. You'll have a variety. That is my gift to you for
Thank you so
your
much.
to help to raise funds for it. So again, I love what you do. And let's put it out there one more time so I can change the banner. October, when is the
October
party?
19th at 1800. I'm going to drink some water. I'm so sorry.
Okay. 1800 and at VFW Post 76.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's get that out there for everybody. Yes. So everybody, make sure you add this to your calendar. Does that look about right? And we'll put this
Yes.
there so everybody can see. Make sure you share it. I will add a link for purchase in my follow up to this. Make sure that you follow the Women's Veteran Calendar on social media. Do you have what socials do you have? Put it out there for
So on Facebook, we have the woman, remember woman with an A because we're celebrating each individual woman. That's how I remember it. Woman Veteran Calendar on Facebook. And we are also on Instagram. I believe it's woman underscore veteran underscore calendar. And also on TikTok at woman with an A veteran calendar. And women veterans, we'd love for you to join us in our Facebook community. So when you search Woman Veteran Calendar, you'll find our page, which is public, and our community group is for women veterans. And that's because that's where we vote on the nonprofits that we're going to give our proceeds to. And that's pretty much It's a board of 2,000 women veterans who choose the direction of the calendar because it's for all of us.
Yeah. So, as we move into this next portion, let's chat about. So, tell me some of your having the nonprofit and giving money, being able to disperse money to other nonprofits that support women veterans is awesome. But is there one particular story that really stands out for you?
Um, I think we've had a few a few, how am I trying to say this? Nothing earth shattering at this point. We're still on
Okay.
our beginning stages, but I will tell you, um it has been so amazing to just get out and be able to learn more about how we can support women veterans, and then come back and give that information to the calendar community and invite them to share that with their friends. It's a ripple effect. So
Right.
maybe a ripple effect isn't earth shattering, but who knows how many tens or 20s or hundreds of women have learned about ways that you can get your VA rating for free, and the VA mental health crisis hotline, and all of the resources that are available not only here in San Antonio, but ways to find the resources in their own state or commonwealth. So we're just making little ripples every day trying to change the world, basically.
Those ripples are being felt everywhere. Do you know how many people I see that we're connected to across the United States, man?
I
You're
love
you're what you're doing is those are big plunks in the ocean out there. I love
that.
it.
Yeah, thank you.
So, now that you're getting a little bit more established, you're feeling good in retirement. Things are looking bright and shiny for you. What advice do you have for those that are in the transition process that might be a little grumpy, or when you were active duty, and when I'm pretty sure you heard a lot of those salty old retirees telling you about their transition stories, and none of them were super great. So, what advice
Yes.
do you have for our future transitioning or those currently?
Well, I'm a hugger, so my first line of advice would be just to put your arms out if you feel so inclined and just give yourself a hug and know that you're not alone. Even if you don't have somebody nearby in the same city as you that you can get a hug from, there's people who care about you. And when you're in the military, you usually aren't in the town that you wanted to be in when you're at your last base, and you have
Mhm.
to transition and figure out what you're going to do with your life next. So it can feel very, you can feel alienated, you can feel very alone, but you're not alone. So give yourself that tangible or metaphorical hug, whatever works for you, and know that you're not alone. And lean on your friends and family, and take a lot of notes, and take everything one day at a time, because I think it's challenging and tumultuous for all of us in our own way. Like, I don't think it's crazy, but I don't think my story is that unique. I think that
Right.
happens to a lot of people, even if it's not the exact same story. So I think taking it one day at a time and taking care of yourself is paramount.
I think that you are spot on. So how can thank you for that great advice. How can our listeners continue to support? So we know that we've talked about following you on social media. Is there a link or a place where people can go and donate? Let me see if I can put this up if you have. Is there some way that we can purchase calendars, pre order calendars, or just buy or donate to you?
Absolutely. Thank you. We have a website. It is woman, again with an A, veterancalendar.com. And on womanveterancalendar.com, you will see we have a homepage, we have a couple other tabs, we have a mentorship program, and we have a store. So if you click on the store, you'll see Because some people don't want a calendar, they just want to make a donation. So there is a donation option if you want to donate, and your contribution will go directly to the nonprofits that the Women Veteran Calendar community decides on. And some people say, well, why do I do that instead of just making the donation myself?
Right.
You can certainly make a donation yourself to any organization, and we encourage that and we thank you for that. The difference is when you support the Woman Veteran Calendar, the women in our community are women veterans. They have been on the receiving end of help from these organizations. They have been involved with these organizations, and not all 501c3s are created equal. So we want to donate our proceeds where it will do the most good for women, veteran, mental health, and communities, because that is our focus. So
Awesome.
donations are available, and you can also pre-order a calendar or a planner or a VIP ticket to our party if you're in the area. And those are all
Nice.
helpful. Thank you.
All right. So we are going to wrap it up. We have talked about your experience in the Air Force, and in your health and healthcare administration, and we've talked about Women Veterans Calendar, your organization that is soon to be a nonprofit. It is a not for profit, if I'm saying that correctly. I
Correct.
just want to make sure. Okay. And make sure that the listeners remember that they can go to womenveterancalendar.com and make a donation, purchase a calendar, or any of the other things that she has there. Go there and get some great information and resources for you, your family, your friends, whomever, or just if you just want to be the resource within your community. So thank you. We appreciate you. And I look forward to, you want to stay on while, okay, so this is kind of impromptu. So I just wanted to know, as a woman veteran, and my platform is for women veterans, and I'm focusing my efforts in my pageant on contributing factors to homelessness of our women veterans, which are the fastest growing demographic in the United States.
Mm.
So I am announcing that I am currently the Mrs. Texas Universe Transcontinental for the Transcontinental Pageant System. And I'm asking if you would like to take the pledge with me for domestic violence. Would you like to do that with me?
I don't know what that entails, but I feel compelled to say yes.
Okay. So what that entails is, I'll tell you about the pledge. I guess I should have done that first, right? So there's a his pledge, her pledge, and kids pledge, and there's a pet pledge out there too. So I'll sum all of them all up into the pledge. And basically, as women, we need to know that we can be accountable for who we love. We are accountable for who we allow to love us. We are accountable. I will be accountable for all of those things. And I will be accountable to the words that I speak around my children and those children of others, because children will repeat the words that we say and they will demonstrate the things that they see. That his pledge says that he will stand up and he will be the strong advocate for domestic violence, and he will help bring awareness to such a critical cause that is contributing to the homelessness of women veterans around the country, since 1 in 5 women veterans have verbally noted that they have been victims of domestic violence. And the kids pledge is to pledge to speak kind words and reciprocate loving and respectful behavior to all of those around them, grown-ups, kids, and their peers alike. And we pledge to our pets that if we buy them, we will keep them and we will treat them like family, and we will not beat and kill and put them out in the streets. So those are the pledges all combined into one pledge. And I was wondering if you'd be down to take the pledge, say that you're a part, you're getting involved in the pledge campaign with me.
It is my honor to take that pledge, ma'am. Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Women Veterans Calendar, Miss Amanda May, retired Master Sergeant. I appreciate you. And thank you for allowing me to put my little tea out there during your episode, as I am coming off my transition too. So thank you very, very much. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being in our 2025 calendar. You honor us with being one of our models. Thank you so much for all the great work you do in our community.
My pleasure. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. Thank you. All right, friends. We have chit chatted with Master Sergeant retired Amanda May Salcedo, and she had an incredible experience where she faced some challenges, as many of us do in the military, but she had great success stories and she overcome many, many things. The wonderful thing is, it was great having her on here on our show to talk about woman with an A, woman veteran calendar, and the things that her organization does, such as help raise funds and disperse them to those organizations that support women veterans. It is a blessing to know that she's out there doing what she's doing. As women veterans, it's sometimes very challenging to ask for assistance because, as women, as mothers, as sisters, and wives, we are the caretakers in the family. And so to know that there are people out there that are providing and adding to the resources within our community is absolutely amazing. So when you have time, which is, I hope, following this show, maybe as I'm doing the closing, go to womanveteran.com, provide a donation, check out what she's got. And we also applaud Amanda for taking the pledge against domestic violence and pledging to bring awareness to those around us in our community, so that we can prevent, reduce, and eradicate domestic violence amongst homeless women veterans and throughout our communities. So, thank you for joining me again on Beyond the Battle, Pain Pageants and Perspectives, where we try to bring you uplifting stories reminding you that you are not alone on this journey of daily struggles or battles. And just thank you for being here. And we'll see you next time on the next episode of Beyond the Battle, BTB. Thanks, guys.